Let me welcome you to my channel. Before we begin the video, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and like this post. Solo Sikoa was not successful at Survivor Series War Games as he took the pinfall to Roman Reigns in a huge main event in Vancouver. Before he entered the match, he sent a lengthy message to the OTC. Team Solo had the advantage at War Games as Jacob Fatu defeated JUSO on SmackDown just one night before. Not only this, but they were working as a complete unit, unlike Team Og Bloodline, which comprised of individuals fighting together, a big difference in multi-man matches. This would age like milk as Solo Sikoa would be the one to take the pinfall after getting hit with multiple super kicks, a hell of a kick, and a GTS before the OTC finished him off with a spear. Solo even tried locking Reigns outside of the cage, but the open roof meant that it was relatively easy to climb from the top. The road to Survivor Series 2024 has been paved with tension, betrayal, and long-brewing family drama within WWE's most dominant faction, the Bloodline. For years, Roman Reigns, the self-proclaimed tribal chief, ruled the WWE with an iron fist, backed by his family's unwavering loyalty. But cracks in the family's foundation have grown into massive fault lines. And now, as Survivor Series looms with its signature War Games match, the conflict between Reigns and his younger cousin, Solo Sikoa, has reached a boiling point. Solo Sikoa, once the loyal enforcer of the Bloodline, sent shockwaves through the WWE Universe this week when he delivered a chilling message to Roman Reigns, a message that may signify the end of the tribal chief's reign. The tensions in the Bloodline began months ago when JUSO, disillusioned with Reigns' authoritarian leadership, left the faction after losing a grueling match to the tribal chief at SummerSlam. Jimmy USO followed soon after, severing his ties with Reigns and going his own way. The once unified family that dominated WWE with a mixture of power and cunning was now fractured. Amidst the chaos, Solo Sikoa remained by Roman Reigns' side, or so it seemed. The Samoan powerhouse, known for his devastating Samoan spike and his no-nonsense attitude, had always been Reigns' silent yet dangerous enforcer. But as Jimmy and Jay's departures exposed cracks in Reigns' leadership, Solo's loyalty began to waver. For weeks, Solo's demeanor suggested turmoil beneath his stoic exterior. While he continued to carry out Reigns' orders, there were moments of hesitation, subtle glances, and body language that told a different story. WWE fans and analysts began speculating, was Solo Sikoa still loyal to the tribal chief, or was he biding his time to make his move? The stage for Survivor Series 2024's War Games match was set as Roman Reigns and a reassembled Bloodline featuring Reigns, Paul Heyman, and begrudging allies prepared to face off against a rebellious team led by Cody Rhodes, JUSO, and L.A. Knight. Solo Sikoa's inclusion on Reigns' side initially seemed to solidify the tribal chief's dominance. But recent events cast doubt on whether Solo's allegiance was as secure as it appeared. As WWE's premier faction warfare match drew closer, Solo's actions became increasingly unpredictable. Last week on SmackDown, Solo walked out of a six-man tag match, leaving Reigns vulnerable to a pinfall loss. The moment was a stark departure from the Solo Sikoa fans had come to know one who valued loyalty and family above all else. On the final SmackDown before Survivor Series, Solo Sikoa took the opportunity to address Roman Reigns directly. The chilling promo unfolded in the ring, with Solo standing under a single spotlight, microphone in hand. "I've stayed quiet for a long time," Solo began, his deep voice carrying a weight of suppressed emotion. "I followed your orders. I stood by your side. I fought your battles. But let me ask you something, tribal chief. When's the last time you fought for me?" The crowd erupted into cheers, sensing the tension in Solo's words. Reigns, watching from a monitor backstage, glared at the screen, his jaw tightening. "You called me the enforcer, the soldier, The one who handles the dirty work, Solo continued. But here's the thing about soldiers, they don't follow orders forever. Sometimes they see through the lies. Sometimes they realize that the so-called leader they've been fighting for doesn't deserve the throne he's sitting on. Solo paused, his intensity growing with each word. Roman, I've watched you tear this family apart. You used Jay. You used Jimmy. And you've been using me. But that ends now. At Survivor Series, inside War Games, I'm not fighting for you, I'm fighting against you. The arena was electrified as Solo's words echoed through the building. Fans in attendance couldn't believe what they were hearing. Solo Sikoa, the enforcer who had been the backbone of the bloodline, had declared open rebellion against the tribal chief. Backstage, Roman Reigns stood frozen, his usual aura of confidence replaced by something the WWE Universe had rarely seen from him: vulnerability. Paul Heyman, ever the opportunist, tried to defuse the situation, whispering strategies to Reigns. But the tribal chief waved him off, his expression dark and brooding. Later in the show, Reigns addressed Solo's declaration in a fiery backstage promo. "You think you're ready to challenge me, Solo?" Reigns growled, his voice low and menacing. "You think you can betray me and walk away unscathed? Let me remind you who I am. I am the head of the table. I am the reason you're even standing here in WWE. You don't get to challenge the tribal chief. You don't get to disrespect this family." Reigns' message, while delivered with his trademark arrogance, betrayed an underlying fear. For the first time, it seemed that the tribal chief's control over the bloodline, and perhaps WWE as a whole, was slipping through his fingers. With the WWE Universe eagerly anticipating the War Games match at Survivor Series, Solo Sikoa's rebellion added an unpredictable layer to an already combustible situation. Fans speculated on how Solo would act once the cage door closed and the match began. Would he confront Reigns directly? Would he wait for the right moment to strike? The anticipation reached a fever pitch as the event drew closer. WWE's social media platforms buzzed with fan theories, with some speculating that Solo might even align himself with Reigns' opponents. Others believed that Solo's actions were part of a larger strategy devised by Reigns himself, a ploy to sow confusion among their enemies. Regardless of what happens inside War Games, Solo Sikoa's chilling message has already altered the landscape of WWE. His rebellion marks a turning point in the Bloodline saga, signaling the possible end of Roman Reigns' dominance and the rise of Solo as a major player in WWE. For Solo Sikoa, Survivor Series represents more than just another match. It's his chance to step out of Roman Reigns' shadow and forge his own legacy. For Roman Reigns, the match is a battle not only to maintain his power, but also to defend the very identity he has built as tribal chief. One thing is certain: when the dust settles at Survivor Series, the WWE Universe will never be the same. Whether Solo Sikoa stands tall or Roman Reigns finds a way to reclaim his throne, this War Games match is destined to go down as one of the most pivotal moments in WWE history. As the world waits to witness this high-stakes clash, the question lingers: has Solo Sikoa sealed his fate as Roman Reigns' greatest adversary, or is this the beginning of a new chapter for the Bloodline 1, where the enforcer becomes the leader?